We're joined today by Stephen Smith, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Game Commissioner. Earlier this summer, Governor Shapiro signed a bill to repeal Pennsylvania's Sunday hunting ban. What should viewers know about this?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Act 36 of 2025 removes the prohibition in law, a prohibition that's been in there for decades, if not centuries, that largely prohibited hunting on Sundays. That with the passage of Act 36 being signed by Governor Shapiro, that prohibition is now taken out. And what that means is that the Game Commission and our Board of Commissioners can manage wildlife and set hunting seasons for 7 days of the week, including Sundays. So it's a big change here in Pennsylvania.
What species specifically can be hunted on Sundays?
Beginning this fall, any species that's in season during from the date range of September 14th through December 7th is now going to be lawful for hunting. So that's going to cover the majority of the main fall hunting seasons, your small game, as well as the big game seasons, beginning again September 14th, going through December 7th. So it's 13 Sundays where Sunday hunting can take place this fall.
How does the Game Commission determine which Sundays hunting will be permitted on?
Well, for this year, it's obviously new. So for this year, we looked at the species that we felt comfortable could withstand additional hunting opportunities. And the wildlife populations are in such good shape, they're so robust that we felt comfortable that additional hunting opportunities could take place on those seasons. We'll analyze that data from this year. We'll see what the harvest impact was, and then we'll make recommendations moving forward on to whether or not that those Sundays should expand in number or decrease on number, depending on what that harvest looks like. So every year we'll be going through that process. We'll be making recommendations to our board, and it's going to consist of what that population looks like and what we anticipate the additional harvest will look like.
Are there any particular species that you anticipate maybe having concerns about population growth dependent on the amount of Sundays that they're allowed to be hunted?
Well, one species that we had some concerns, and that's why we were not opening up for Sunday huntings at this time, was our wild turkey populations, particularly what that impact would be on Sunday huntings for that spring gobbler season. That's at a very important time of the year for that population, for that species, for reproduction. So we weren't comfortable in allowing Sunday hunting to take place then. For other species, again, it's going to be very dependent year by year on what that harvest impact is, and then we'll make recommendations moving forward. But for this year, we're certainly not anticipating any significant impact to the species, none that we thought wouldn't allow these additional opportunities to take place.
Hunters will also have the opportunity to get property-specific permits. Can you explain what these involve?
Yes, so we have two programs available for landowners who are dealing with wildlife problems. This typically comes down to deer impacts on their properties. We have Deer Management Assistance Program and also an Agricultural Deer Control Program. Both are very similar in that they allow landowners to get additional tags that then they can give to hunters to then remove additional deer from those properties. For our Agricultural Deer Control Program, it's in effect right now. It started on August 1st, and for our Deer Management Assistance Program, it takes place largely during the regular hunting season, so it'll start in October with our archery season.
Do you anticipate that increased Sunday hunting opportunities will have an impact on hunting license sales?
When we look at Sunday hunting and what the impact's going to be, we think the biggest gains are going to be in keeping the hunters that we have. And we know, we've done a lot of studies on this, that for hunters who leave the sport, the number one reason that they do is because they just didn't have enough time to participate. Where we think the real value of Sunday hunting is going to be is for those hunters who are looking at their schedule, making a decision as to whether or not to buy a license, whether or not if they can hunt this year. When they see these additional opportunities, and for this fall, 13 Sundays, the difference is going to be it's going to allow them to go buy a license, to stay engaged in the sport, and we think that we'll be able to retain hunters more because of Sunday hunting.
What early feedback have you heard regarding the Sunday hunting repeal law?
From our hunters, it's been almost overwhelmingly positive. We've gotten a lot of emails that have come through. Individuals have reached out to our board. Individuals have reached out to us, particularly just saying thank you. so many of our hunters are excited about this. This has been something that we've been trying for decades to have this, the opportunity to manage seasons or extend seasons to include Sundays. And our hunters are overwhelmingly excited about what this is going to look like. So we are as well. This is going to be a great opportunity for our hunters to get out there to keep them more engaged.
What do you think was the turning point that finally got the Sunday hunting ban repealed?
I think the turning point was the extent of the coalition in Pennsylvania that was asking for it. We had not only our hunters, not only that stakeholder group, but we also were joined by the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, who, and you mentioned, those programs that we have for landowners. When we think about impact of wildlife to landowners, it's farmers who we're thinking about primarily. So even they were asking for increased opportunities for hunters to be out on their properties, helping control the deer population. So we had not only our hunters, but we also had our farmers coming together, asking the legislature to make this change to give more hunters more opportunities.
The Game Commission held a quarterly meeting back in July. What was accomplished?
Well, for that quarterly meeting is when our board took up this issue of Sunday hunting. Typically, our board will implement seasons beginning in January and then finalize them in April. This year, with the bill just being signed by the governor right before our quarterly July meeting, we didn't have the opportunity to amend those regulations. Instead, what the board did is the board passed a resolution that directed me as the executive director to issue an executive order implementing Sunday hunting this year. So it was a little unusual of a process in order to get it in place this fall. But nonetheless, we were able to do so. And when the board comes back in January, we can take up Sunday hunting again. They can take up Sunday hunting again and implement it through the regular two-step regulatory process. So this year, the January meeting, which is typically a smaller meeting as far as substance, it was really a critical one because it gave us the time to implement Sunday hunting and get it in place for this fall.
What more will the Game Commission do to not only retain but also attract new hunters?
Well, that's been a big priority of the commission for the past couple of years. And it goes back to time. We see that as the biggest limiting factor for hunters. So in addition to Sundays, this is going to complement really the work that our board has been doing over the past couple of years of making hunting more accessible by opening up more seasons, having them extend over periods when hunters are available to get out there. And Sunday hunting is just going to fit perfectly into all that work that we've been doing over the past couple of years.
Stephen Smith, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Game Commission, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.